Kaboom! Welcome to the channel. My name is Greg Kennedy. You could call me the defender of marriage and families. So I've been doing this series, I call it the Red Pill Marriage series, where I talk about how marriage help or benefit men, women, children, and society. How does marriage benefit men nowadays in society? I've done a couple benefits already. You can look at my description and you watch some of those videos. I want to continue this series. But before I continue this series, just in case you didn't watch my opening remarks, that's episode 0, the opening remarks of the Red Pill Marriage series. One of the things I said is that marriage is a business. Yes, marriage is a business. In fact, I'll go as far as say those people who don't see marriage as a business probably shouldn't get married. My own wife doesn't really like that. It sounds too pragmatic. She wants it to be more romantic. Look, romantic is good and everything, but look, if you're not pragmatic about who you're marrying, then I don't think marriage is for you, particularly as a man. In one of my favorite movies, The Godfather, I remember the Godfather telling his son that women and children can be careless, but men can't be. Totally agree. Look, I'm continuing the series and I'm saying in this episode that married men earn more money than single men. I've done the studies, guys. I've read them. Okay, I'm putting in some research in this. One study says that married men earn 40% more than single men, even when you control for education, age, and other factors. One study says 11%. Married men earn 11% more than single men, even when you control for all of these factors. College education, age, and the rest. How about men who get divorced? The men who get divorced earn 9% more than men who have never been married. In fact, when it comes to retirement, men and women too, at the end of retirement, they have the least amount of money. They get the worst healthcare, but I don't want to get into that right now. In fact, when it comes to retirement, the married guy will have approximately $420,000 on average, while the guy who has never been married will have $150,000. And even the divorced guy in some cases have more. You know, even if I have to put myself in the category of any three, what I would want to end up with. If I may assume that the divorced guy has kids, but this guy who's never been married doesn't have kids. Maybe he does. And maybe that's one of the reasons why he's end up poor, because of a single mother, child support and all of that. The ideal is to get married and the marriage works forever. If we go by popular statistics that 50% of marriage end in divorce, then okay, you could say a 50% chance. Okay, some people may want to even dispute that. Obviously, the more money you make, the less likely it is that you will get divorced. The less money you make, more likely it is that you will get divorced. Now, it is very important, guys, to recognize that married men earn more than single men, obviously. But what causes this? It's correlation, causation. Interesting. So, there are different things to look at. You can make a point that, look, the marriage compels the married man to earn more for his family. In fact, that is the argument that is thrown against the married man needs to earn more. Okay, that has a point, but we live in 2021 where a lot of married women also work, including myself. I'm a professional and my wife is a professional. Okay, so that is very, very common. So there's two income being pooled together. If my wife and I want to buy a rental property, we can do so. While I'm still living in my home, we can do so. There's more residual income. If you have to do it on your own, sometimes it might be a little bit challenging. Now, before I look at the reasons why married men earn more, what are some of the things that single guys spend their money on? Single guys go to bar more. Statistical fact. Single guys take more, do more riskier things with their money and with their lives. Bars are expensive. Clubs are expensive. But you know what else is also very expensive? Dates. I mean, dates are expensive. I remember as a single guy, I had an entertainment budget. And one of the things that ate up a lot of my money was dates. So I know those are very, very expensive. Going to the bar, playing some pool, getting some drinks, very expensive. And those, although it's entertaining and that's a reasonable good investment, usually it's let me not call it an investment. It's spending that is diminishing return, if no return whatsoever in some cases. When I go to the bar, I drink, and that is not an investment. The money that a man spends in his family is an investment. And if he manages and socializes his family very well, that is going to pay off in leaps and bounds. In fact, you might even argue that it's invaluable. What you get from your family is invaluable. Even when we talk about retirement and old age, so you like to have a pension, but you still want to have kids around, your little army to advocate on your behalf. Even if my son doesn't have the time to change my diaper the way I did for him, even if he doesn't have the time to feed me the way I did for him, because I'm socializing in it. In my business, my family business, my marriage is my family business. I'm starting a cycle where my kid need to know that they're going to take care of me. And then when they get old, their kids is going to take care of them. That was the case. We live in a more individualistic society now where people don't care about each other. But if you're in your home, and this is statistical evidence to prove this, your kids will love you more than if you're not in the home. As a matter of fact, I can relate to that. That's me investing the money that I spend to go. The argument that married men need more always sort of overlook the fact that married women also out-earn single women, but their wages sometimes fall as soon as they start having kids. That's what it is. That's how it works. Okay? But let's get back to this. Correlation, causation. Well, I'm going to say to some extent, marriage helps to increase because the man is forced to earn more for his family. It's his business that he's investing in. But also, there are other factors. Married men are more likely to get promotion because of prejudice or preferences. The idea is that married men are more stable and they get more respect. And speaking of respect, I did an episode where I talk about married men getting more respect. Check that episode out. Okay? So, it is very important, guys, to recognize that. But also, it is believed that married men are more productive. As a matter of fact, it is proved that married men are more productive. Is it marriage that makes them more productive? Or is it that productive men are more likely to be husbands? Productive men are more likely to be husbands. That is what I would prefer to go with. To me, that's worse than correlation is causation. Because it then means that I might deduce the fact that there are lots of men who never got married, not because they didn't want to, but just because they couldn't. Men are the gatekeepers of marriage and relationship, but that's only some men. Some men, even if they wanted to get married, they couldn't. They would have a challenging time finding somebody to marry them. Some men just won't get married. Who's going to marry them? And this is not me trying to shame anybody. That is why it's so important to work on yourself so that you have choices. From the age of, I would say about 24, I've never dated a girl seriously who didn't give hints. Lots of hints here, there, and everywhere that, you know what, I would like to be in a serious long-term relationship with you. If they're not giving you hints, there's a chance that, you're not at the level that you should be. So, correlation is causation? I'm not so sure. I actually believe that some men are more likely to get married, and they have options of getting married. Guys, what do you think? Before I close off, guys, just remember, whatever you decide to do, decide early, because you got less time than you think. It is always later than you think. Never forget that. Peace.